Here.
Vice Mayor Morgan,
Here.
and Mayor Hickman.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum and everyone is here. That's exciting. So we will move on to line item number 2. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve, deny, or amend, and approve or deny with respect to an ordinance of the City of Eufaula, Oklahoma, relating to the imposition of the city excise tax, sales tax of 1%, in addition to any and all other excise taxes now in force, to be levied upon the gross proceeds or gross receipts derived from all sales taxable under the Oklahoma Sales Tax Code, providing for the use of the proceeds of said excise tax, providing for the effective date and termination date of said excise tax, providing for subsisting state permits, providing for payment of tax, providing that the tax is in addition to taxes currently levied, incorporating certain provisions of prior city and ordinances, providing for amendments to this ordinance, providing that the provisions of this ordinance are cumulative and in addition to any and all taxing provisions of other city ordinances, providing for severability of provisions and containing other provisions relating thereto. Mr. Jacob.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This is a follow-up from council's meeting back in March to discuss options for funding road improvements. Both our financial advisor, Chris Wolf, and engineer Michael Taylor presented at that time, but I'm going to ask them to come back up and give a quick recap of what that would look like.
Thank you.
Chris?
Good afternoon. Chris Wolf with MFS.
There you go.
Is this good?
All right.
What I'm going to provide to you all today is just a kind of an update as to what's been going on sales tax wise from when I was here in March. You guys have a full year of fiscal year 2026 collections. Not much has changed from the presentation, so I'll kind of do a pretty high level walkthrough of it. I won't belabor it, make it go 30 minutes like last time, but again, this first one, this is how your current sales tax is structured. You all have 3.5 cents that are hanging out there, 3.5 cents of use tax as well. This is a sales and use tax election that we're talking about. You have your sales tax pledged to several of your Oklahoma Water Resources Board notes that are outstanding right now. So right now, this is how it looks at 3.5%. This is how you stack up. Not much has changed since I was here. I think the only one that moved up was Colgate. They went to 10.5%. But again, this is how you stack up as total sales tax across other communities of similar size demographics. Right now, you guys are kind of in that lower third of this set that I've got here. You guys are sitting right at a total of 10%. That includes your county and your state taxed right now. So, again, last time I was here, we talked about how it used to be a very small number of communities that were at 10% or higher. As the years go on, we are showing more and more. Right now, there's over 150, almost 150 communities that have a 10% or higher total sales tax rate. So this is where it looks. This is current rates through the end of Q3 of 26. Your sales and use tax collections for 26. When I was here, you guys had 9 months of the fiscal year kind of on the books. Right now, you all have the full year basically flat. It was down a little, but it was virtually identical to the year before. So all of the analysis, all of the loan sizings that tie to how much sales tax you increase stayed the same. So again, we're not really changing, we're not rewriting the book here, but annual taxes, sales tax was stable, use tax was stable. Go ahead.
Yeah, going back to the community sales tax, does that vote about the county, is that included in this? Because it was.
So I believe Chris's numbers are the current rate.
Yep.
I believe 0.25% drops off in October and the other 0.25% drops off in December from the county.
So we would be down to.
It would drop, yeah.
Okay.
So this is through September 30th
Gotcha.
this year. So this is just where you stand right now. We looked at two options when I was here, a half cent and a full cent. This is what, because your sales taxes have remained fairly, unchanged from fiscal year 2025, and we used conservative assumptions going forward. We don't want to oversell how much you can generate because you all have seen fairly linear growth for the last few years, but recently it's flattened. So we don't want to extend what we think your sales tax will generate. So these numbers remain about the same. It's 3.28 million for street projects. This would be, for a 15-year banknote. I mean, this just shows, we'd be looking at level debt service, but a half cent would generate enough to do about 3.28 million in actual projects. That would be what you could put in your construction fund for streets. Again, this is a half cent over 15 years if you were to do a banknote. The rates that we're showing here are about where, more or less where they would be. Of course, if interest rates decrease, you could do a little more in street projects. If they continue to rise, you would do a little less. But if you were to close on or around this time, it'd be in this neighborhood. If you were to do a 1 cent, of course, it's pretty much double. You could do 6.6 million in street projects. Same 15-year term, same interest rate, but it would allow you to do essentially double the amount of street projects with a 1 cent additional sales and use tax. This is the estimated tax burden. A lot of information on here, won't go through it all, but because you all are in a very unique position, because most of your, or a large portion of your sales tax revenues are tourism driven, you all don't get the same impact on your local residents as you do if you were, just kind of a normal suburb or a normal community in rural Oklahoma. When I was here a couple months ago, we looked at this versus maybe a general obligation bond issue, which in that situation, most of your residents, I know you have lake houses, Airbnbs, rentals, but most of your residents would bear the cost of that. Whereas under this is less cumbersome or less burdensome to your actual local residents. You can spread that financial, payment across other tourists as they come through town. So using looking at your industrial sales tax collection categories, and just kind of estimating based on which are more tourism driven, which are more regular everyday retail. These are the estimated impacts per month per household for an actual Eufaula resident, not a tourist. So again, these are estimates. 2026 is about the same as 25. They haven't released the industrial categories to the general public yet to see kind of how it broke down. I would imagine it's probably about the same. So these numbers we're kind of still going with. But again, most of your sales tax is driven by tourism. This is how it would look across the state. Again, these are rates effective through September 30th. We've got your current, which again, you'd be in the lower third. If you all were to do a half cent, that would put you right up at the top with, Colgate, Shakota, Atoka, Holdenville. If you do a 1 cent, that moves you up to 11% total. Again, this is current rates. That would put you obviously at the upper end. You would be the top community as far as what your total sales tax rate would be. And this is, general calendar, just kind of to show how a generic timeline would work on this. These aren't set in stone, but these updated to include kind of the new dates we're looking at and the way that this would work. So happy to answer any questions. I know I kind of ran through that, but more or less the same as it was back in March. Nothing too drastic of change.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
I do. Jacob, depending on the half cent or the full cent, what kind of impact could us approving either one of these do to help you to find more grant monies out there? Because I know that some of those grants are 80/20s or 50/50s or can you tell me what kind of impact us having this extra revenue might make?
Michael may be able to help me with this some too on the grants available. I know ODOT has the TAP grant, which is 80/20.
Right,
But
but you already applied for a TAP, correct?
We're in the application process, I think.
Right.
But that's primarily for trails. Actual grant dollars for just roads is pretty minimal, from my experience, other than working with Muskogee Creek Nation. And I think just being able to bring money to the table helps elevate us in their priority list.
Yeah, and we're applying with them on some of the full depth replacements. So money on the table probably could help move that along.
And then, sorry to rethink this, ODOT also has a lake access program, which we are applying for. That only pays for the materials, not the labor involved in it. So if we were to receive that just on our own, there'd be a significant delta. I think it's about $1 million that we would have to provide to cover the labor. Certainly, the higher the sales tax, the more opportunities we can work with. But we're ready to proceed however council sees fit.
Yeah, just to reiterate, we'll leverage every dollar we can going towards roads to get as much funding, free money that we can. Like Jacob said, the Lakeshore Drive is already programmed through the Lakeshore Access. So if those two come together perfectly, as far as programming goes, we could make that money go a lot further with that grant.
If the city voters said, yes, we're gonna do a 1 cent sales tax. So here we've got this 1 cent sales tax. And I know the question you're gonna ask, this is for the roads. Give me an idea of what roads you're gonna fix and how long it's gonna take you to completely blacktop all the roads. I don't have,
So when we go into a sales tax event, so we have to spend a good portion of the funds down to 85%. Is that right? Within 3 years. So the first tranche of projects in the first 3 years is going to be pretty extensive.
3 years.
And we have a map of what we're proposing to do from the study, but we could create a table of what roads and extents those are for publication for sure.
I think that would be very important,
I do too.
you know.
I do too.
Michael, do you recall the number? Was it over 30 million to do every road in town?
It was right around that.
30 million.
Yeah. So realistically, back to our March discussion, funding wise, a 1 cent sales tax and a GO bond would be a more aggressive approach. But understanding financial limitations that we have, we're just trying to do the best that we can.
I think for the next 3 to 4 years, at the 1%, that was our keep even for pavement condition index, if we got those roads done for 3 years. So we'd still, after that 3 years, have our backlog climbing in roads that need repair. But the 1.6 per year for 3 years,
Well, I know the advantage we have is like, say, tourism, people coming in and, I go to Tulsa or go to Hot Springs or go to Branson. I don't ask about their sales tax. I just pay whatever it is, and how that affects the local business. I don't have a business, so I don't know what effect that would be on businesses or anything, or low-income families,
I think that, I love that you bring that up because, as a council, I know we always think about that, because, when you increase cost and you're going to increase, some people, that's a lot, for some. And I think that's good to keep that in mind when we kind of consider that. But at the end of the day, we're putting it to a vote to the people, And so, yeah.
I think in our favor is the fact that the county did not pass. Am I right there? It did not pass. So we're not bumping behind an increase that's already happened. And we've got some that's falling off upcoming county, correct? A 1/4 cent already did and another 1/4 cent
to come.
is to come, yeah. So we do have that. Plus, we do have the new or better relationship that you guys are working on with the Muskogee Nation. So, I think we're not going to be out there on our own just trying to build all of this on 1 cent.
And I love what you said, Evan, because I was looking here at Shakota as well. And Shakota is at 10.5% sales tax.
Do they have Walmart?
And they have
Blind
Walmart. So,
Jay? Go.
if we go down to 9.5, but then we presented a 1%, that would just put us right in line with
Just
Shakota.
right along,
So
that's alongside, yeah.
now I'm not saying, that's up to the people,
Of course.
if that's what we decide. So you have more information for us?
I was just pulling up what we originally presented on how many linear feet. It's close to 50,000 linear feet that we'd be programming for replacement.
Has, I know that you guys are asphalting, and we had done some of that already. So some of that the labor will be done by city as well on the asphalt side. Is that right?
Correct. And the best way I can equate we have a crew of 2 people that we want to build. And certainly if we have the sales tax, it would bring in more than the debt service requirement. So we could increase the staffing for internal street department. But the best way I equate them is to emergency water line repair crew. They're not going to go out and repave an entire new road, but they're going to hit our most critical points, which, we haven't had significant road improvements for at least 10 years, probably 20 years. So there's quite a bit that needs to be addressed. So we're trying to take a multi-pronged approach here, doing internal work, partnering with Muskogee Creek Nation, partnering with ODOT, and potentially bringing in a sustainable funding source for major improvements.
But I think the key to all of this is going to happen is that we're going to have to be informative to the community on what's going on. Maybe having townhouse meetings or something, let the people ask questions or whatever. They need to know what's going on, what's going to cost them, and what they're getting.
Yeah.
We didn't do that before.
Right. It's got to be sold. If we're going to get it passed, it has to be sold, with an understanding so the people can know what it is that they're voting yes for.
And how it affects them.
Will you explain further? I think you said the term was your break-even estimate. That if we did the 1 cent was 3.6, and that's really just to maintain the roads, not to do the whole 30 million project. I just want to make sure that people are aware that even at 1 cent, we really aren't.
We're not fixing every problem
Yes.
we've got. We're getting a good start on it.
That
Yeah.
was the 1%.
Did I say 3.6? That was half a cent.
Okay.
Yeah,
6.
so 1.6 million per year.
And can you explain like what she's mentioning, like the keep even,
Keep even.
like what
Yes.
exactly that entails?
Yes. So this chart is the one where he said, okay, if you want to spend nearly 30 million, that's the blue line that just goes straight up in 5 years and fixes everything.
That'd be nice.
Even after you fix everything, it's already going down. So
Right.
that's something that having the road crew is going to help with the, just kind of trying to keep up with some of the backlog. So our green dotted line, I'm going to walk over, sorry. This one was just the kind of keep even, but still making progress within the budgets that we thought. The actual break even is the keeping it 40, which is the purple line. So it's a little better than just we're going to do the bare minimum just to keep it where it's at. We're fixing roads, but we're always having roads that are still a problem. So I think at that 1.6 for 3 years, we're going to see some really good improvements throughout town. But we still, as we're working through that, are going to need to, like Jacob said, find responsible fiscal funding for future work as well. These are streets that have been neglected for some time.
Mason, do you have anything? Nope. Evelyn, what's your thought process?
Well, I think if we're going to take it to the people and if we're going to actually make some strong progress over the next 3 to 5 years, that we have to have a jumping off point. If we're going to take it to the town, I think I would prefer that we just go for the 1 cent, that we go for the full penny and just understand that we're putting a whole lot of pennies together to do what, when I came to this job, that's one of the things that everyone said to me, not just a few people, everyone.
Mhm.
Are you going to fix the roads?
Yeah.
And we've got to figure out a way to do it, and we're going to all have to be in it together.
And I do love how, with Jacob, how he's kind of put other options up there,
Yeah.
to where there could be some other possible funds available with
Yeah.
Mr. Michael and others. So,
Yeah, I think this would be a jumping off point. I think it's what you said a while ago, a jumping off point. And then along with the other, I think if we find other monies and all of that, then the progress is going to look
Way better.
even better.
Yeah.
We're going to be moving faster and more roads covered if we can have this money to work with and the other monies that Jacob is very good at finding.
I will say, as we progress through the water and sewer projects, Jacob was always able to come up with more and make those go just a little bit further.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
when you start seeing progress, that's when you get more opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, you totally caught me off guard there a second ago, James. But yeah, no, I did have something to say. I do like the 1% idea, but I do think it very much needs to be publicly marketed very hard because I remember the last time it came to a vote, me personally, I didn't really even know. I didn't know what was really going on until the day of. And I think it's something that if we vote this in, we just need to make it very public to the town of why this is going on. Yeah. And I think it'll do well at that, but it needs to really be known hard of what's going on.
The beauty of that is, I think that there are some marketers among us, but also we have, 9 good months of a plan that we have been putting together that will help us to not just sell that penny on the roads, but everything overall. That's just a part of this overall plan that we're putting together to improve the entire city.
Yeah.
But we can improve all the rest of it, but if you still have to drive over some of these roads that we've got, we need the new roads. We need whatever we can get.
Mr. Roger?
I agree with the 1 cent sales tax. If we're going to try to fix something, let's try to fix it. Don't halfway fix it. It just, that won't work.
Let's do it right and do it once.
We need to fix it. We can, yeah.
Okay.
And, besides the citizens you follow seeing the new roads, that even our people come to the lake, they see the road, it makes a difference to them too, I'm sure. Because you see right now, especially on the east side of town, how many old homes have been bought for lake homes. So they have an interest in Eufaula. They want, so 1 cent would be fine with me.
Tish, you got anything?
No, I don't.
Do you have any because if this goes before the people, concern, any concerns or anything like that?
I am not for increasing taxes ever, but I think it needs to go to the community members to vote. It is a big concern. Like Evelyn said, it's been the number one concern that everyone has brought forward. We're living in pretty tough times right now. And I think Mason is correct. We're going to have to market the heck out of it and for it to pass. But I think it's only fair for the citizens to decide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing it's not a council decision only.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it has to be owned by the city.
Yeah.
So,
And I love that concern, by the way.
Yeah.
So I do respect that very much. Do we need to read this or do we need to take action?
You take action on the
Okay.
current item, yes.
Do I hear a motion to approve the 1% sales tax increase?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mason, Council Member Mason.
Councilmember Dodd,
Yes.
Councilmember Dolly,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes,
Vice Mayor Morgan,
Yes.
and Mayor Hickman.
Yes. Okay, that motion approved. So,
Good talk.
moving on to item 3.
Mhm.
Mr. Joe, would you like to read that?
Discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve, deny, or amend and approve or deny with respect to a resolution authorizing the calling and holding of a special election in the city of Eufaula, state of Oklahoma, the city, on the 3rd day of November 2026 for the purpose of submitting to the registered qualified electors of said city the question of approval or rejection of an ordinance of the city relating to a 1% excise tax, sales tax, in addition to all present city, county, and state excise taxes, with the proceeds of said tax to be used to fund street improvements of the city or debt service in connection with said street improvements as more specifically set out in said ordinance of said city, authorizing the legal services agreement with the Public Finance Law Group for legal services in connection with the election and containing other provisions related thereto.
Very good job. Thank you.
I give credit to the author.
Yeah, I mean, he wrote it in all caps. It makes it difficult. So, Mr. Jacob.
Alan, could you walk us through this real quick? Sure. Thank you.
My name's Alan Brooks. I'm with the Public Finance Law Group in Oklahoma City. Basically, you've adopted the ordinance. The ordinance is subject to approval by the voters. The resolution that you're looking at today is basically calls the election. It sets out the proposition language. We'll required to provide the resolution along with an election proclamation to the county election board. This is a 75-day notice requirement to the election board for an election to be held on November 3rd. Again, this is a 15-year tax. If you adopt the resolution today, we'll get those documents over to the election board, plenty of time. We'll coordinate the process with them of proving ballots, that kind of thing. We'll work with the city to publish the appropriate legal notices. We typically publish the resolution once in full, the proclamation 3 times, sometimes 4 times in full. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of problems in the last few years with newspapers, not your newspaper, just newspapers generally not getting things published. So we have a tendency to over-publish as opposed to having to back up and have another election. And we'll publish the ordinance once in full. So we'll kind of coordinate that process, but it would be on the voters would see this on November the 3rd. And be happy to answer any questions. That was kind of the quick version, but
I don't have it. Does anyone else have any question?
this 15 years. I won't be here.
Oh.
We don't know. We don't know that, Mr. I mean,
I'm making
maybe.
I'm making decisions that I won't even
Yeah.
be around.
Well, you could still be in that
I
chair,
don't think
buddy.
I'm going
I
to be
mean,
here either.
I'll be 120 years old. That's not going to work.
You will get credit for the new roads. the beautiful new
He'll be
roads.
99.
Just name a street after me.
Yeah.
Martin Avenue. There you
yeah,
go.
that's it. All right. So we need to take action. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the election.
I'll second.
Councilmember Dodd,
Yes.
Councilmember Dolly,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Morgan,
Yes.
and Vice Mayor Hickman.
Yes. Okay, that motion approved. And
As it relates to agenda items 4 and 5, unless you're looking at 1.5% sales tax, these items have been rendered moot by the prior vote and no action would be required. So just show no action on those if that pleases the council.
okay, so moving on to number 6. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Yes.
Councilmember Dolly,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Morgan,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank everyone.
Better start fitting our.
Well, I was.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Absolutely.
Just very simple. This is why.
I thought you all